Hello, I'm Brian Kelly with the Paper Mill Store, and we are here at the end of the How Design Conference in Atlanta 2007. And I'm here with Tom Wright. Tom, how are you?
Just great, thank you.
Great to see you. Tom is with Neenah Paper. I think all of you have heard about Neenah. And it's been a pretty exciting show for us, and how about for you guys?
How is the best show ever? I mean, this brings designers from all parts of the marketplace together. You have freelancers, you have independent small studios, you have corporate in-house. It's just this great diversity group of activity and very active.
This has been one exciting year for Neenah Paper, to say the least. You've had some really exciting environmental initiatives, some acquisitions that have taken place, and I think we'd like to just get a little insight on that if we could.
Sure.
And maybe let's hear about some of the interesting environmental initiatives that you guys are promoting this year.
Okay, well, environmentally, really this just didn't start this year. It took place for us in 1990 when we came out with the Environment Grade line.
Yes.
And that was huge. I mean, we were the first premium mill to come out and have a writing, text, and cover grade line with 100% post-consumer waste to it, and we said, hey, that is what we need to do.
Yes.
If we're going to go in this environmental movement, we have to have post-consumer waste. And everyone else was their 25% cottons. They were their recycled sheets.
Sure.
So we got there, and we had the environment name, great platform. The environment process kind of went away in the design industry for a number of years, and now it's bubbling up again.
Yes.
But now it's all about sustainability, which is a different type of activity. So, the Neenah direction on doing this is we're going to make real change. We're going to make real change within our mills, and we're going to make real change in terms of the product that we take to market. And no smoke and mirrors, if you will. So we're going to have our FSC certified items. Of course, that's the way in which we can take things to market and be audited and make sure that we're part of that chain of custody for those people who want Forge Stewardship Council types of papers that are certified from the time they come from the pulp mill all the way until they hit the printer's press. That printer has to be certified and go to market. That's one thing. Processed chlorine free. We're the first and only mill on the premium side to have processed chlorine free papers, so that's very unique.
Really?
So basically, they come in, audit us for how we use our chlorine as well as all of our other chemicals in our mills, and that, again, kind of keeps in line with the sustainability type of movement.
If I may, it seems also that you see the importance of third-party certification so that a graphic designer or a corporation can come and check and make sure that the claims that you make are credible.
Absolutely. Green E, that's another certification for using low-impact hydro, wind power, biomass, all those different forms of energy to actually operate the mills. We have a unique opportunity within our Neenah facility where we actually are able to take the sludge, which normally would go to landfill.
Yes.
We carry that over to a facility that burns that at a very high temperature. They capture the steam. We ran pipes a couple miles back over to our mills, and we use that steam to actually operate 80% of the power of our Neenah mill. And that totally offsets the natural gas that would have normally been used to operate that facility. So that's another kind of way of making real change. And most recently, 2 weeks ago, we signed up with the Chicago Climate Exchange, which is
we read about that.
It's kind of like the Kyoto of North America. It's the opportunity for us to actually make a commitment, a legally binding commitment for reduction in greenhouse gases. And we are bound to that, and it's very exciting because it's real change, and we think that's where the industry needs to go.
It really is, and we're actually neighbors, and papermillstore.com is in Neenah, Wisconsin as well, so I've seen those pipes going back and forth, and I also had a great opportunity to see, wasn't it the Discovery Channel that did a great piece on you folks?
Modern Marvels did a whole piece on that unique apparatus that takes this what would have been waste and landfill and all of a sudden turns it into power, and then they take that byproduct, which is silicone, basically use it for asphalt, use it for shingles, and different types of things. So it's a pretty neat closed loop system, if you will.
Well, that's exciting, and the climate of manufacturing has changed, and you guys certainly have been leaders in bringing that change into an arena that normal people can use. Let's talk a little bit about, this is a pretty exciting news that came out not that long ago, your acquisition. If you can tell us about that.
We're very proud. Actually, Neenah Paper is in the Fox River Valley. Fox River Valley is famous for paper making in two great mills. The Paper Valley. Two great mills located just downstream from us, Gilbert Paper and Fox River. Fox bought Gilbert a few years back and operated both operations. We've now acquired the Fox and Gilbert grade lines, and they have some great things. They have the Star White brand, beautiful white, smooth finish, kind of a white for all occasions type of papers. Really loved in those areas of the country, out in the West Coast where Simpson paper was. And Star White started with the Simpson paper
Makes sense.
Operations and so forth. Also, Essa and Oxford, more designer-oriented brands, lots of rich texture, rich deep color, so it matches up very nicely with what we have in classic columns, classic blade,
really
classic
does.
linen. It's that broadening the spectrum of the offering, and now we also have some mid-tier and so forth grades, as well as our evergreen grade, which matches well with our environment grade. So I mean, lots of synergies that are going to go on and take place with that acquisition. I mean, it's only a month and a half, 2 months ago that it was announced. We're working through all the data and figuring out what we need to do to kind of align things a little bit better. It's really exciting. And we're hopping at the Neenah office.
Yeah, well, as a distributor of some of the Neenah products and previously of the Fox River products, we're very excited about it. We think it really makes a much stronger company, a much more comprehensive offering. But as well, we've been impressed at how smooth and seamless this has been. You're right. I mean, it's been a month and a half, and it's done.
Behind the scenes, it's not that smooth. But to the customer, that's the goal.
I bet it's a little different.
And to any designer who's a real really loves those grade lines that are definitely the designer specified grade lines, they can be assured. That's why the acquisition took place. It's to take those and actually bring them out and do more of what is traditionally Neenah support, getting them out in front of the designers, making them available to see how they can be utilized, doing the fresh revisions to them. We're going to do it the Neenah way.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's great to hear. Just in summation, we've had a lot of great designers coming through, and so there have been a lot of really interesting conversations, I think, that have taken place on this convention floor over the last couple of days. Can you give us any insight as to some of the things that you've heard from designers that are important to designers today, and what they're talking about, more industry-based rather than just Neenah Paper?
Sure. I think there's a gentleman, Joshua Chen, who has spoken. He's from San Francisco. Does a lot of work with some great companies like North Face and Stanford University, all their performing arts materials and so forth. And I think, because I'm an older designer myself of many years back, and back in the days of T-squares versus computers, but I think what I love about his conversation is it's about bringing it back to craft. We have all this technology that surrounds us, and if you look at the show, tremendous amount of software companies, stock photo, etc., that are here exhibiting. But the designer themselves, they can really take part of the interior, portion of why they got into design. It's for the art, if you will, and then how they can use that art to help communicate to others. And starting and thinking a little bit more about the craft, not just going through the computer steps. The paper becomes very much of that craft process. It's you're an orchestra leader, you have typography and font sizes and leading and kerning and so forth to consider, you have photography and illustration. Paper is a part of that, and so if you start early in that process, if you treat it as a part of the craft, the end result is a piece that's going to communicate. Because obviously people are using databases, things are getting more right-sized in terms of the items you're sending out in the marketplace. So now you can look at paper a little bit more strategically. This is an opportunity to make your piece differentiate from your competitors, the company that you're working for, the organization you're working for, the pieces that they may take out in the market. They may do just smooth and glossy and so forth, and there's nothing wrong with smooth and glossy, but if you can put texture, tactile, weight, size, all those things that make people hang on to something,
absolutely,
then you can communicate, and you can do that at the right size with the right papers.
And that's what you folks do so well.
Yeah.
Well, Tom, thank you very much for spending a few minutes with us. I know our viewers are going to find this to be a very interesting conversation, and it's great to see you again.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.